Well, bless the Lord, brothers and sisters. So happy to be back yet again. I thank God for you tuning in. This is a deep message. I thank God for the listener who was listening to my previous message. He left a comment regarding secular music. And I said, you know what? Let me just make a video about it because I believe, hear me, that a lot of people may have this question regarding secular music. And this may be a good way to edify the body in that regard. Now, with that being said, I'm not here to tell you what to listen to, or rip, if you would. I'm not here to tell you what you're listening to is bad or good. I'm not here to tell you that you need to turn it off, turn it up, or anything like that. I'm just here to merely, on a spiritual standpoint, let you see music in a different level than you are used to. Okay? Now, music is actually spiritual. Did you not know that? Music is actually spiritual. Okay? It came from a spiritual realm, and it's here for a purpose. Okay? Did you not know that music has a purpose? Not a lot of people know that. Music is here to do one or two things. It's either here to bless or to curse. That's simple. Really, really simple. When you listen to music, it's either to bless you and bless your soul, or it's here to curse you or curse your soul. You have the opportunity, just like in the garden, to make a choice to partake and to indulge in things that will edify you and bless you, or partake in things that would actually have a long-term effect in cursing your life and that of future generations. Now, you say to yourself, what's the matter? How is music spiritual? Well, music has the opportunity to heal. Did you not know that? Music has the opportunity to bring together. Music has the opportunity, brothers and sisters, to change a person's mood. Music has the opportunity to bring hope, to bring joy, right? It's also has the opportunity to edify. So anytime, hear me, some people even have the opportunity to increase your faith based on what type of music you're listening to. If you're listening to something that is godly music or something that could edify your soul, it can actually increase your faith. Brothers and sisters, God is looking for your worship. That's the bottom line. You may go to let me break it down on a simplistic standpoint. You may go to a grocery store, right? And on the shelves, like the music industry, you have so many different things that you can buy, right? You can either buy things on the shelf that is healthy and will bless you and will nourish you. And then when you go to the supermarket, you may have things, just like in the music industry, that you may listen to that may not nourish you, right? That may actually bring about different demonic spirits along with it that may actually curse your life. And same thing in the supermarket, if you eat the wrong things over and over again, it will eventually curse your life. And you say, Samantha, well, music is not food. Well, okay. Music is not food. So why is it that you're constantly, many of you out there, can't get enough of it? You're not a type of person that can listen to it and then put it down, or fast for some music and just do other things. You have to listen to it while you're in the car. You have to listen to it, a lot of you, while you're showering, while you're making love. Music has to be a part of your every single day. And a lot of times, a lot of the music that you're listening to, hear me, is not glorifying God. So you say to yourself, so how can you get rid of this desire to have this music or to play this music? Well, one of the reasons why you can't shake it is because you don't want to shake it and you don't think that it's such a big deal. It has such a hold on you, hear me, a lot of you out there, that you're secretly doing it. And you're not fooling anybody because God is watching exactly what you're doing. If I'm listening to something that I want to listen to and that appeases the flesh and it makes the flesh feel good, I'm not thinking about holy worship. I'm thinking about that Prince song that I've been listening to for a long, long time when I was growing up. And you know what? When I was listening to Prince, I used to like Prince years ago when I was growing up. I actually made a covenant when I was younger and I didn't even know about. And that's exactly why it was so hard to break Prince out of my world, if you would. And I'm going to break it down with you. See, my father used to be a DJ, right? And he had a lot of records and stuff, right, in the house. And when I first saw the Prince album, right? It was a blue album. I'm not sure if it was the Prince album, right? That's exactly what it was. And he was on the album. It was blue and it said Prince on it. Years and years ago, I was a little girl. I looked at the album. This is exactly what I did. I looked at the album. I was so young. I forget the age I was, but I definitely wasn't a teenager. I was I don't know if I was 10 or whatever the case is, but I looked at this guy, right, on this album, and I said something in my mind. I promise you, I'd never really even probably heard his music before. Listen to me, listen. I looked at the Prince album. I looked at his picture and I said, man, this guy's hot in my head. I didn't articulate that he was hot, but I was very attracted to that image. Hear me. The image of the album was drawing me closer, right? Seriously. So I said something in my mind at that moment, that captivating album. And I said, in my mind at 10, I said, I will always follow you, or I love you, and I will always. It had to do with the fact of me making that covenant of saying, not I will. I didn't say I would worship you. I didn't articulate that, but I said something to the point in my mind, right? Nobody knew about it. I said something like I would always follow you, or I always. It was a connection that was made, right? True story. I'm not making this up. Do you know, brothers and sisters, in terms of Prince, and you'll see the video that I had, look for it. I actually was in his dressing room hiding years and years after. I'm telling you the truth. I was obsessed with the man. And I forged that covenant, whereas there's nothing about Prince I didn't know. There's not a song or album at that time that I didn't know about. I literally forged a commitment with this artist on a spiritual level, right? Now, we know that Prince is on a, now it, listen, we know that Prince, he was a legendary artist. He was very talented, yada, 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 we know that. But in terms of forging a connection with this person that I never even known, that I never even, heard too much of his music, at that time, I was captivated by the album, the physical vinyl of the imagery itself. And I say this to say, hear me, at a adolescent age, Satan, right, used the lust in me, even at 10, of my flesh, right? So this is not what you're getting. This is the reason why you can't break free. And to fast forward it, I did break free from Prince as an adult. I did, and I listened to him less and less. And literally, he got out of my spirit to a point where I was tested. My former quote unquote music manager at the time told me she had front row tickets to see Prince, front row. And I said, no. When I gave my life to Christ, I said, no, I'm not going. So I knew that covenant was broken. But let me just rewind it back to what I was talking about. Let's go back to when I was a little girl and obsessed with Prince, right? I want you to realize, whether it be rap music, whether it be rock music, whether it be, R&B, lustful, this and that, whatever the kids are listening to now. There is a covenant that is forged that not a lot of people realize why they can't shake this music. For me, right? I particularly at that time didn't know the spiritual ramifications of what I did. But as an adult and as a seasoned child of God, I realized that it started, hear me, with the lust and the desire of my flesh. So whatever you're listening to right now, examine your life and examine the reasons why you want to listen to that music and why it has such a hold on you. And 9 times out of 10, you realize that it's more spiritual. And when you have a egotistical disposition, or if you are struggling with ego or pride or, stuff like that, you may be struggling with the fact that you don't want to give that hip hop, a backseat. Because what it does is it makes you feel invisible. When you listen to hip hop, and the hip hop that I used to listen to years ago, right? I used to like the harder the beat, the better the song for me. Coming from New York, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. The harder the beat, the better the song, and it is what it is. I loved it. It really made me enjoy the music the better, and I'm not here to, list so many different artists that I used to listen to, because I don't want to make this video a video where you can, ooh, she likes this, let me check this out. It's not about that. Because this is the reason why a lot of people are ensnared and entrapped by the devil. Because you have a lust, an insatiable lust, where you can't literally go to bed without listening to this or listening to that, or where you make a love or with your spouse, you have this and this song that's not holy, that's not godly, but you want to incorporate that in your lovemaking. Now, I'm not saying lovemaking is supposed to be boring and we're supposed to be listening to Mozart while we're in the thing. You make your own love song while you know what I'm saying, with your person that you're with, your spouse. What I'm saying is, what is beating your time? That's what I'm talking about. Why and what type of music is beating your time away from God? If there's a music that you have to listen to and sneak, hear me. You in your car, I'm a bit of a comedian, right? You in your car, right? And then you're married to somebody, and then this person that you're married with is holy, love the Lord, blah, blah, blah. Your spouse doesn't have a strong hold for secular music. So you don't listen into it in the house, but what do? As soon as you get in that car, or as soon as you're alone or away from that person, you find yourself cranking it up. And the devil, hear me, I want you to listen to what the devil is trying to do. The devil is trying to make you feel like this pacifier away from home is your only source of peace, is your only source of solitude, is your only source of refuge for you to hear that type of music. This is the only time that you could get your me time without hearing the nag, right? Some people feel that way. Some people feel that this is the only time that I can listen to what I want to listen to in peace. But what's happening is, if it's not holy music edifying God, you don't need to be listening to that. If you have to sneak around, then that just is a telltale sign that you're hiding something that maybe God does not want you to listen to. Huh? Listen, first of all, let me just get this personally clear for everybody out there, okay? For me, I'm speaking from Samantha, myself. After I gave my life to Christ, after I said, Lord, take my soul, take my heart, take my life, take my spirit, take everything about me. I renounced the world, use me, everything. Got baptized, the whole bit. In the name of Jesus Christ. That doesn't mean that I've never listened to secular music before. You hear it in commercials, huh? You hear it while you're, music. You don't think that the devil doesn't care that you pledged that allegiance or gave your life to Christ, the music is in the elevator. You know what I mean? Worldly music is everywhere around you. And the reason why that is because on a spiritual level, hear me, it's a war going on. Oh man. So now I'm going to get to the spiritual side of things. I'm taking it up a level. What I want you to do is close your eyes real quick. There ain't no demonic stuff going on. I rebuke the devil in the name of Jesus. What I want you to do is just close your eyes. Just a quick exercise. Close your eyes. And I want you to visualize a spiritual army, right? Of good versus evil. Heavenly angels, right? Of heaven, of God. And then I want you to think about demonic creatures and the devil's team, pretty much, right? And I want you, in the middle of that, I want you to have a line, just literally a line that kind of like God, that Jesus put in the sand, a line in the sand, pretty much, in between them. So one can't necessarily pass or cross the other way, right? And I want you to I want you to be honest with me. I want you to be completely honest with me right now. And I want you to think about the music that will be probably played on either side. Come on, Samantha. And I want you, close your eyes, keep your eyes closed. And I want you to be honest with yourself. And I want you to say to yourself, I want you to listen and I want you to hear. I want you to hear it now. Now I want you to hear the music on both sides. One side, on the heavenly side, I want you to hear that music. Okay? I want you to hear it. Now stop. Now I want you to hear the music on the demonic side. Right? Do you hear it? Do you hear it? Now I want you to stop. Now open your eyes. Is it true that music is spiritual? Yes or no? Yes, it is. And the reason why you just figured out today that music is actually spiritual, because you just did an exercise and you closed your eyes. You didn't see anything physical around you. You saw darkness, right? When you close your eyes, you see darkness. But I kind of painted a picture, right? And the picture that I painted is good versus evil, right? And in that exercise, I also said to you, I want you to envision godly music, in a sense, and then less godly music or worldly music. And I want you to pick a side on who would be listening to who. And you saw it in the spiritual realm because angels are spiritual and demons are spiritual, right? Things that you cannot see are spiritual. Can you see music? Can you see music? I'm not talking about the musical notes that people write down on the thing. I'm talking about frequencies. I'm talking about megahertz and all of that. Things like that come from the spiritual realm. And mankind, hear me, in their own lusts, create either good music or bad music, holy music or demonic music. And based on you and your appetite and what you want and what I wanted at 10 or what I was interested in when I saw that image, that kind of revved up that interest. So when you look at music, when you think of music now, you look at it totally different. I want you to again think about when you know that the Holy Spirit is saying, don't you listen to that. Turn that down, turn that off. When the Holy Spirit is nudging you and telling you, you know you ain't got no business listening to DMX. I know you like the beats. You know you ain't got no business listening to Beyonce because it invokes the spirit of lust. See, every type of music invokes a spirit behind it. Right? Listen, after this video, I want you to think about music in a totally different way. A totally different way. You got parents out there that think it's cute to have 2 and 3-year-olds shaking and grinding their butt, and everybody around them are chanting them on like demonic creatures. Do it, do it. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead, mama. And this little 2-year-old that has no, mental capacity to realize what she is doing. And she's invoking all of these spirits of lust, and all of these demonic creatures around her in a circle are cheering her on and chanting her on for, the pole in a few years to come, or the strip a few years to come, or getting raped or molested a few years to come. They're chanting that on and thinking it's cute. Huh? And you mean to tell me that music doesn't have a spiritual underbelly behind it? Or we're going to talk about this today. Or you have this little boy, that's 13 years old. And because of you, see, either you are going to tell your child, just like the title of this video, to turn it off or to turn it up. If you turn it off, that means, it ain't getting past go. I'm not listening to this crap in my house, because I realize that when you turn up that frequency, a lot of demonic entities have legal access and legal right to be in my home, to be in my car, to be in my mind, to be in my spirit, to be in my psyche. You at work and wonder why you listening to Beyonce on the down low. On the down low. There's a lot of musical down low listeners that say they're children of God. You listening to it on the down low. And I will be a liar. Hear me. Because I'm going to keep it real on this channel. I would be a liar if I would say I'd never listened to, secular music after I got saved. I did. So I'm telling you that it's a stronghold. It's a stronghold that a lot of people literally have to get spiritual deliverance from. Because you can't do it on your own. Music is that powerful. Music is spiritual. Again. So if you think that you could just, okay, child, I'm going to just turn it off and that's it. The devil's like, okay, I didn't get you this day, but don't worry. Before you watch this or that show or movie, we're going to have your favorite song on. Don't worry. We'll get you again. And it's up to you to turn it off or mute it. Listen. Satan wants your allegiance. That's what he wants. He wants your soul. And he wants to remind you the door that you opened. Now, whether there's somebody in your family that opened up that door and you just been listening to it, let me give you a prime example. I'm going to get spiritual right quick. When Moses, was raised in opulence, riches. He had a beautiful home, right? He had a choice to renounce that and live like his Hebrew family was, in spirit and in truth, or just go with the flow and say, you know what? I'm living fat. I'm living rich. I'm going to live with, these folks over here. It was literally gnawing at his spirit. Give this up or go with that. Now imagine somebody telling you that you have to give this up, something that you're comfortable with, something that feels good, something that seems good, something that makes you feel a certain way. I got to give this song up. This is my favorite song. This is my favorite artist. And it's a war. It's a tug of war. And the reason why it's a tug of war is because you invested emotionally and spiritually in this thing. Is the music that you're listening to, hear me, when it's all boiled down, is it literally glorifying God or glorifying your flesh? I'm speaking for myself. When I listen to Prince or listen to him back in the days, or some of the other artists that I would listen to, I seen and identified the spirit of lust, the spirit of vanity, the spirit of pride, all of that. I seen it in the spirit that every time, hear me, I listen to this music, I feel something. And that's exactly, hear me, what the devil wants you to do when you're listening to hip hop or you're listening to this or that or this artist or that artist. You feel a certain way, right? Sometimes some people out there, they feel invincible. Or there's people out there that's ready to just shoot somebody up, rape somebody, or kill somebody. Those are demonic spirits attached, hear me, attached to that. And a lot of people don't realize that a lot of music that you're listening to, before you even hear it, before it even goes to the airways or before you stream it, there are literally witches, hear me, witches that are putting spells over this type of music so that it can sell and so that you can literally be attached spiritually with this music. And going back to when I told you to close your eyes, right? Think about the music that the heavenly angels from heaven will be listening to. Do you think they will be listening to DMX or Beyonce? Do you think they'll be listening to AC/DC? Or Kiss? No. And the reason why they will be listening to holy music more so, hear me clearly, on the instrumental side of things, more so, is because when you listen to lyrics as opposed to things that are instrumentally made, lyrics hold power. Words hold power. So even if you're listening to Mozart, right? I'm going to give you a prime example. If you're listening to Mozart, but you're rapping over it, and it's some killer this or killer that, or I want to get you this or get you that, those words are powerful. So the devil even, hear me, can have a way of changing the sound of something, but you're still invoking other things based on the words that you say. There's a lot of music that's R&B, just like Kanye. Kanye has a way of taking old R&B music, sampling it, right, and putting rap over it. He's notorious for that. He's notorious for taking, even Jay-Z sometimes, he takes old, R&B music from back in the days of what our grandparents would listen to or our parents would listen to, and he would put a hard beat around it and just rap over it, right? But the bottom line is, hear me, even though he took something old and put something new to it, it's still perpetuating a spiritual demonic force. And 9 times out of 10, those feelings that come about that bring up nostalgia. Oh, I remember that. I remember that when I was a little kid. That Jay-Z song. I used to listen to that. My mom used to listen to that song. That's the hook. Familiarity. Oh, yeah, I'm familiar with that. I remember when I was a little kid, my mama used to listen to that. So that's okay. And then you have the beat that allures you in. But then when he talks about what he talks about, it's all in ego. It's all in pride. It's all in worldly stuff. So sometimes the devil is so, he tricks a lot of people and tries to mix it up. Oh, this is what my mama used to listen to, or this is safe. But then look at the artist. Look what the artist is perpetuating with. I'm not going to call out this artist or that artist because you know why? I believe that a lot of my listeners are intelligent enough to know what's good music and what's of the devil. I'm sure that, you know that. But see, a lot of people, because they don't want to give it up, because they don't want to crucify the lust of the flesh, they say, you know what, I'm strong enough. I'm big and bad enough. And meanwhile, incubus and succubus is having their way when you go to sleep and you can't shake it off. And you are getting closer and closer to hell. Listen to the stuff that you're listening to and not getting delivered. You can't get delivered because you don't want to get delivered. I'm going to say it again. You can't get delivered because you don't want to get delivered, right? If you want to get delivered, you'll literally turn that off. You'll literally close that door. You'll literally cry out to heaven and say, Lord, this music is not edifying your kingdom. This music is edifying my flesh. This music is edifying demonic beings. And I don't want to be on their side. I don't want to be with their army. So I renounce and I rebuke this music. And I ask in the name of Jesus that you wash me clean. And you take this desire away. Take the desire away, Lord, first and foremost. Take the attraction away. Take everything away that says, I want this. Take this pacifier away and let me grow up spiritually. Sometimes, brothers and sisters, hear me clearly. I'm going to just say it because it's the truth. Sometimes you're going to have to listen to music that may not be cool. Sometimes you may have to listen to music that may not be hip. Sometimes you may have to, not be with the cool crowd or the hip crowd. Sometimes you have to, embrace things that may, quote unquote, seem boring, all right, in life. That's the part that they didn't tell you about Christianity. Sometimes you may go through the boring phases of life. And the reason why it may feel boring to a lot of people is because you were so used to eating fried chicken every day. And when somebody gives you baked chicken, it doesn't seem that good. You used to eating sweets all the time. And when you stop eating sweets all the time, and when you eat fruit and vegetables and things that your body literally needs, and when you eat a piece of cake again, it's so sweet. You ever stop eating junk food and stuff like that, and then you go back, and then you eat a piece of cake and it's super, super, super sweet. And you're like, ew, you like literally are turned off by it. You don't like it. It's just too sweet. You just want to push it away. And then you think to yourself, you was literally eating that every night. And it didn't affect you. It didn't bother you. In fact, you wanted something sweeter and more and more. And that's exactly what's happening. When you listen to certain music over and over and over again, you become immune to it. To the fact of you want more and more. It's just like a crackhead. It's just like a drug addict. They need a higher fix. Weed won't do it, so they want coke. Coke won't do it, they want heroin. Heroin won't do it, they want fentanyl. Fentanyl ain't gonna do it. What they want? Lava. They want to shoot up lava. They come to the point where nothing is higher than the last hit. They want more and more and more. And this is what happens when you listen, hear me, to worldly music. And like I said, that's one of the struggles that I had and have to be mindful of myself. Because music could be very beautiful. Anything that can alter your mood, anything that can make you feel healed and, give you hope. That's why they have music in movies. You ever notice that? They realize the power of emotion and what it invokes. You ever see a movie and it's a love song going on in the background? What do you usually think of? Somebody kissing or embracing. You don't hear, no, you don't hear stuff like that. You hear something soft and peaceful and loving. And then when there's an action movie What type of music do you think of? Something fast, something, you know, that invokes your adrenaline to just go faster and speed and things of that nature. You don't hear stuff that's calm or nice. But sometimes, brothers and sisters, you know what I've been noticing lately? This is what the devil does. The devil, he likes to switch it up. These days, if you watch a movie, hear me, that's action-packed or shoot 'em up, you hear instrumental music, soft music. You ever, am I lying? You ever watch a movie that is shoot 'em up or whatever the case is, right? And you ever notice that, and not that we should be watching, that's another video, the movies we watch. I'll leave that for another day. But there's some movies that come on, you know, whether you're watching a commercial or whatever, and then you see the coming attractions or whatever of a movie. And then all of a sudden you're hearing soft music and they're shooting up each other, beating up each other. And you're hearing, quote unquote, elevator music. Nice calm music. And they blasting each other and their brains are getting splattered. Why is the devil switching it up? Because the devil wants your allegiance. And he wants to trick you in thinking, hear me, that all music is acceptable. It's all acceptable. No, it's not. No, it's not. All movies are not acceptable. Okay? Do you know that I found out, brothers and sisters, that 60% of the pastors, 60% admitted to watching porn? 60% of pastors. So if 60% of the pastors admitted to ever watching, while they were pastors, porn, literally turning it on and watching it, that just goes to show you, hear me, that your eye gates and your ear gates, right, have the opportunity to let something spiritually edifying in or spiritually harming or damning in you, right? When you look at things that are evil, when you listen to things that are evil, they do something not only to your physical realm, but to your spiritual realm, to your spiritual life, right? So you have an opportunity, brothers and sisters. I hope this video did something to you, to let you see music in a way that you've never thought about looking at music before. So I hope that this video allowed you to see music in a different way. And getting back to Prince, what I was talking about growing up, when I, quote unquote, at that time pledged that allegiance or that covenant or told myself, and I, decided to allow the enemy to manipulate me and wanting or having that lust for that music, I opened that door to Satan. I did that. I said that I would love this person or I would love him forever or whatever the case was, or in that way, right? So I grew up wanting to hear Prince. I had a craving for him. Year after year after year. I wanted his albums. I literally was worship. It was a form of worship. It was. Who are you worshiping now? If I told you, see, usually when you listen to music, you have a genre of music that you like, right? So I was listening to Prince. And the reason why Prince had such a different sound, a lot of his songs were not the same. You have the rhythm and blues, you have the pop funk, whatever the case was. He was diversified in that way. So he was the type of artist where you really couldn't get, used to just one sound. He changed it up. So when I listened to Prince and he was coming out, with albums so often, it was just like I was listening to different artists, and he incorporated other artists, bands and stuff. So it wasn't like I needed to listen to so many different other artists, because the music that he and the sound that he had was so next level. I was just like enamored. But with that allegiance, I had a spirit, hear me, attached to me as well. Oh yeah. I had a spirit of lust within me, an insatiable spirit of lust. Oh yeah, that I acted on early on, and which I got into, situations and relationships at an early age that I need not have I shouldn't have done it. I shouldn't have, had my hands in a cookie jar, so to speak, So yeah. Anywho, I'm somebody out there saying, Samantha, you lost your virginity at 12, child. No, it was 17. And the only reason why I'm telling you this is because I could keep it real on my channel. But losing my virginity at 17 is not to gloat about or to say that's a great thing or not a great thing. The bottom line is I wasn't married. So there. In God's eyes, it's still a sin. Whether you be 25 and not married or 15 and not married, a sin is a sin. So, it is what it is. I'll keep it at that. But the bottom line is, hear me. You come to a point in your life, and the older you get, you realize that time is literally running out. And if I literally did not renounce Prince, renounce worldly music, and like I said, I'm still, even to this day, have to catch myself, because the music, literally, the music is spiritual, so it does something to you. Music is supposed, it's just like, you was an gamble player. You used to gamble a lot. You used to, gamble. You was a gambler habitually, right? And then somebody says, well, gambling is bad. Gambling is wrong. Gambling does this. You need to stop gambling. It affects your family. It affects your finances. It affects your spirit. It affects your soul. It affects this, right? And you know it's bad. You know that these things are happening, but you can't shake it, just like a drug addict, right? They know that this is poison to their body, but they've been doing it for so long, and they're looking for this high, and they're chasing this high, right? And it's their normal, right? So if somebody tells you after listening to Prince or listening to hip hop or listening to your favorite artist, quote unquote, your favorite artist for years, and you have to turn it off, it affects you. It affects you. It affects you mentally. You telling me I have to turn this pacifier off? I have to throw this pacifier in the garbage when this does something to me that makes me feel a certain way? But these demons don't want me to shake this? How? How can I turn off Beyonce? How can I turn off D'Angelo? How can I turn off, Music Soul Child? How can I turn off, Chico DeBarge or whoever it is, whatever artist you was feeling? Huh? Bilal. How can I turn off, this? How can I turn off these people? Were they at the point of my life when I was down? Hear me. Hear the devil talking to you. When the point when I was down and out, and I told I needed was Mary J. And when I heard Mary J., she understood about the heartbreak and what I was going through. And she was the only one that was there for me. And when I listened to my life, it just did something to me. It changed me. These people were there when nobody else was there. This is what the devil is telling you. This is what the devil is whispering in your ear. It is nobody like Wu-Tang, because you know what I'm saying? When Wu-Tang was out, and you know what I mean? They the only ones that understood the struggle of what I was going through. And when I turned them on, I got my inspiration, and I felt hope, and I felt... Then I want you to close your eyes again. And remember the spiritual entities of the demons, and then I want you to think about what I was telling you about of the heavenly host. Which side will be playing what? Which side will be playing what? And why? And what they represent. And I'm not talking about just one song. I'm talking about every catalog that this person represents. And when I think of Prince, I'm not just thinking of the most beautiful girl. No, I'm talking about the subtotal of his catalog. And you know what it is? If I would literally squish it down, right, and juice it, you know what would come out? The spirit of lust. Right? And if you put you want just one artist, and if you put it in a blender and you juice it down, and what will come out? A lot of it, the spirit of pride, the spirit of lust, the spirit of murder, the spirit of pornography, the spirit of ego, the spirit of demonic Satanism a lot of people are listening to. That's the truth. And this is the grip. This is why you don't want to give it up, is because the demons, hear me. Oh, hear me. The demons on the side that you're really on want you in their army. And I'm closing, you were actually in the spiritual realm on that side of the devil all along. And I want you to envision Satan looking down toward that army and looking down in your row and looking at you going on the other side. And then I want you to think about all of those demons looking at you going on the other side of life, of liberty, of heaven. You're going to stick out. That's why it's hard to give it up. Now you see things on a spiritual level. Now you understand that it's just not about boo-doo-boo-boo-boo-doo-doo. Your soul is involved. Your allegiance is involved. Your reputation is involved. It's not just turning it off. It's literally turning that off in the spirit. So, ask yourself, what side are you really on? Blessed that you're a living God.